Why is that rat just sitting in the tube?
Yeah.
I am almost ready.
Oh, a little late to be almost ready.
It doesn't really matter. Also, since Opti is not going to be joining us for a while, you should pick the overlay because it says I'm Opti, and
You may have been born in the dog, but I was molded by it, undone by it. You merely adopted the dog.
I adopted Tog?
no,
If ain't.
they're just making the joke based on it saying that they're me and that nobody is them.
May, you should stop drawing on your hand, you dumb bitch.
No, you're right. You
Um,
shouldn't have did that.
I'm gonna post this somewhere so I have it. So I can just paste that back in
You also
because
should have shut the fuck up about like cascading through shit, and then maybe your weasel wouldn't have like almost died.
well, this has been a constructive session.
The session isn't even started, bro.
So yeah, I'm gonna pick right up because we already had our little mini recap. There really wasn't a lot that happened. It just took a while to get through. So to start, the majority of you are outside, or at least in viewing aspect of the meteorite passing overhead, comet, whatever you'd like to call it. It is flying through this atmosphere. You watch it arc over the sky and over the mountains to the west of you. And it goes over the mountain. After a few minutes of everyone kind of chit-chatting, after it's passed, you hear a boom.
That would certainly mean that's pretty close.
So a boom that indicates that it landed nearby, or what?
It flew over the range, and after a few minutes, you heard a boom.
Yes. The boom one hears from a meteorite hitting Earth is very different from the boom one hears from explosives, whether they be magical or mundane. Please specify.
It hit the earth.
Thank you.
There was a big flash. Everything just changed. The campaign got fucking erased.
I mean, I don't think anybody would complain if that happened, really.
Ooh.
No, not a temporal paradox.
I only
Somebody
put Lil's
teleported
characters through that all the time. So yes, the meteorite has now passed overhead. You can see some of the guards chit-chatting about it. Mostly people in the town seem to be happy about it. You know, previous references to Sigmar's coming.
Yeah.
It kind of briefly filled the town with a slightly eerie green light as it passed overhead. But like I said, most people are in the streets. They're drunk. They're hungover from the party the other day. Like they're still working out of their system, and the booze is free still. So not getting through the system very quick. What are you guys doing?
I believe I'm going to be wrapping Tarragon with straps of linen to kind of hide his chaotic kind of features a little bit. Also to kind of mask the wound that he had last session.
All right.
I'm going to go back in and see about getting some drinks for the group.
All right. You make your way over to the counter. There is a bug-eyed granny with glasses behind the counter, and she tells you that if you want alcoholic beverages, your first options are our standard selection of cheap wines and tankards. Otherwise, the sap-based ale is completely free until it's gone. And she points to a massive keg over on the wall that there's just a line of people crowding around.
Then I'm gonna grab a few mug. I'm gonna grab about 3 mugs and get in line.
All right. You make your way over into the line. It'll be a couple minutes before you get up there, and you can see there's a person like ahead of you that's got like 7 tankards, and they're trying to like stuff each one in their arm. Get a good look at the alcohol itself pouring out, and it looks like a syrup almost coming out of the keg.
So,
Hmm?
once the stream actually started, did we explain that Opti wouldn't be joining us?
Opti will join us later, or not at all. We don't know yet.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, you are getting the alcohol. After a couple minutes, you make your way up to start pouring it. It takes a little bit to fill your tankards. What's the hawk doing?
That's what I was pondering. Well, upon seeing the meteorite crest the horizon or whatever and land with a explosion and presumably an earth-shaking boom, because that thing seemed big.
No, you don't really feel any shaking.
Hmm.
It was probably just the initial shock wave that like idly shook the foundation, and then it just settled.
Whatever. Considering that he just sort of staring in that direction, and after a moment making a mental note of where it would be, because they should probably we should probably check it out at some point, because that was probably a massive chunk of warpstone. Anyway, noticing that nobody is panicking about it, there's no reason to cause fuss. And he just goes back inside to the bar.
Right, you make your way back in, and you can see that Zephyr is currently over at the big keg in the back, trying to get several tankards full of this syrupy, thick alcohol. I'm gonna throw my phone in a minute.
Oh boy, why?
The message till after. Fuck.
Like,
As soon as 7 hit, badoink, 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 badoink.
yeah, like, that's why whenever I have, like, this, the other session I'm a part of, or
And
Magic Night, I have my phone set up so that it automatically goes on to Do Not Disturb.
yeah. And anyway, you enter the bar.
Yeah.
You can presume Zephyr is getting drinks for everybody.
Yep. Entered the bar. You described that.
You could see me putting a bonnet on Tarragon. You, my little big old weasel.
Right. So that's what my party members are doing. From the sounds of it, the majority of the bar is attempting to partake in the free alcohol, yes?
Pretty much.
Okay.
The layout is it's pretty much a square room, staircase in the back going up, bar next to that, circular tables across the room. There's a group of guards at one table that look a little too fancy to be here, and then the rest of the town is mostly fishermen, miners, and a few like in and out street urchins.
Mm-hmm.
I roll perception check to to like see if those are the guards we were supposed to meet.
Do we know what any of them other than the captain look like?
You don't even know what the captain looks like.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Last session, I thought we saw a pretty regal-looking guy come out and say, "Look at the meteor!"
You did. He came in and said, "Look at the meteor," and then just walked away.
It's true.
What's Miranda doing? But Miranda's our, no, it's Erda Thorn that's with us. My notes are mixed up, my bad.
It's fine. She rat. She with you.
She's on your shoulder, and she tells you if you try to put a bonnet on her, she's chewing your ear off in the night.
Not a bonnet. I tie a scarf around her.
She looks down at it and then looks up at you. I'm gonna bite you.
I give her a thumbs up.
I mean,
okay.
with what was going on, he was torn between joining Zephyr and going over there. If he, well, hold on.
Okay,
Like,
I guess
that
not.
would be fine interaction.
Go ahead,
I
Merrick.
guess not. I guess not perception, like insight or investigation.
It would be investigation.
So perception 22. Is that good enough to spot her messing with Erda?
Yeah.
All right, I go over there and sit down with those three.
All right. So,
15 investigation.
all right, with a 15, you take a look over at the guard captain as you're on. You're filling your 4th out of 6th tankard. Getting it up there. You take a good look over there. You see a couple of detailings on their armor that you can tell are from the capital city. Like, they're definitely a regal battalion of guards. But you don't see anything indicating that there is like a leader among them. They seem to be like they're on break. They're currently in the middle of regaling stories about a long road trip and how they're glad to be rid of something.
I'm gonna sit down at whatever table's closest to them and listen in.
All right, you grab a empty round table a little to their side, nearby the way upstairs where your family has currently made their way up with Jalen to get settled in. The Hawk and May, do you make your way over to the table?
I mean,
After.
well, hold on. So, like, we did stuff from Eric. So he would go over there, sit down, and just sort of look at what she's doing and softly say, how would he phrase that? This is to Erda, by the way. I guess he would phrase that way. Do you want a different chaperone?
She looks at May. She looks at Tarragon. She looks at May. And without a second thought, jumps off and scurries across the table.
Alright, so after that, I imagine he'd look back. Yeah, he'd look back to the line, notice that Zephyr's gone, and then notice him at a separate table. Ah. Do you think we should join him over there? Asked to the whole table.
Well, yeah, maybe we should. I was thinking that we should probably either, like, be inconspicuous for the plan that we came up with before coming to town.
Well, there's nothing terribly... Oh, wait, was that in or out of character?
Kind of both.
Okay.
It is mostly in character though.
Okay. Well, there's nothing conspicuous about moving tables once the person with the beer sits down. That said, if you want him to sit over there by himself with 4 tankards of ale, we can let him do that.
Mm, I don't
That's
want to give
also
him alcohol poisoning quite yet. I
that's
slowly start to
also
get up.
that's also weird looking in its own right, yes. He also gets up and walks over after he makes sure that his new passenger is securely fastened, air quotes.
She climbs up around the back side of your neck and tucks herself under the belt of your plate armor.
Okie dokie.
You don't really have a lot of great hiding spots, but she's gonna make do. Let me roll her.
Meanwhile, as a ranger, I have all sorts of hiding spots tailored
I
into
mean,
my clothing for Tarragon.
I could put.
Okay.
I still have the mask. She could just hide in the toucan beak, or I can put the mask on. Though that seems like it would be kind of crowded for her.
She will make do.
Yeah.
Yes, put mouse inside toucan beak and then put dragon snout into it. Nom 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 nom.
Licks rat
Yeah.
booty.
Just like her just hiding in the toucan beak seems like a good call. But anyway, moving over there, we sit down.
You sit down. You see that Merrick has gathered like 6 tankards of this very thick liquid. It almost looks like syrup inside of the tankard.
Is there bread at the table?
Mm-hmm.
I take a loaf of bread and start dipping it into the syrup and start eating it.
I take a tankard and sniff it.
It smells like tree.
Interesting. I drink it.
You go to slam it back and you find that it kind of slowly drizzles out. Surprisingly, as it hits your tongue, you're kind of expecting a very raw tree taste. The alcohol itself has kind of a very smooth taste. Like there's definitely plant in it, very like fragrantly, but you don't really taste the plant. You just kind of taste the alcohol itself as it comes in.
And is there no note of sweetness since it's nectar based?
Oh,
Or sap based, rather?
there is. It is a very
Mm.
sweet, sticky substance that kind of burns your throat as it goes down. As you swallow, it coats the whole way down. And it need to take a minute to clear out your throat before you can properly speak again. And as
Yeah.
I think I made the right choice with the medium of my consumption of this drink.
regardless of how you ingest it, by the time it hits your stomach, it forms a nice heavy layer at the bottom, and it almost feels like you've eaten a whole meal.
I like how we can see what they're doing now. Sorry, but like I was distracted by one of
Baby in
them.
the pipe.
Yeah, one of them just sort of messing around in the pipe, and then the other one noticed it was in the pipe, so it was like, "Oh, is it pipe time?"
Yep.
Anyway,
Mm.
They're also on a beach episode.
well, that was interesting. Normally not one to water alcohol down, but I'd probably make an exception for this one.
I take a few sips of my drink, and once I can speak, once I can kind of speak again, like I just thought we could all use around after or what we went through.
Oh, I'm not complaining. It's interesting. It's just I like my drinks to be drinks, not glue.
It's an acquired taste.
I'll give you that.
As a fae, it's kind of like it's a normal kind of beverage. It's not the first time that I've had something very dense in my gut.
Yeah. You know, he just sort of smirks at that, leans in, and asks, "But is it the first time it's tasted this sweet?"
No.
Shut. I just give him like a dirty look, like, what is that supposed to mean?
Heard it tells you guys that the town is infamous for its natural based oddities. They have special herbs that are more like inclusive to medicinal use than you would get in the city where there could be like chemicals mixed in. Hi. You can find, sap based alcohol. There's skin lotions made out of sap and honey, like fresh, not even just slightly mixed. Snacks. You can find like honey bars that are like dried out,
Ooh,
just chunks of honey
I'm
with like
gonna
little
have to
berries
grab
and
a
stuff
bunch of
thrown in there.
those. I'm gonna definitely have to grab a bunch of those to replace my ration supply.
And this time of year is when they celebrate the fertility of the land by giving them out like in bulk, like the alcohol contest. That's tankard will probably last them a week.
Oh,
I was here a couple of days
Shootout.
ago for the festival itself. I think the winner drank 56 cups of that.
In one sitting?
I mean, the sitting was like 3 hours, but yeah, the alcoholic
Question.
content of this drink doesn't really hit you until later.
Ah,
Question.
I
Hmm?
was more surprised about the whole managing to down 56 glasses of this, air quotes, sloshes it around in his present tankard.
I wanted to see you slosh that. Sorry, what's up,
Yeah,
Mac?
again, hence the air
Um,
quotes. He does what would normally slosh it, but it doesn't slosh. It just sort of sits there.
meh.
Right?
Go ahead.
My thermos that I have, I've been passively drinking it since I got it. How empty is it?
You're pretty much out at this point. It's like 3 days for one thing of coffee.
I think I'm going to fill it with like half. What kind of tree sap is this again? Like a maple?
It is made out of maple, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna fill half of it with the maple and then like some kind of plum rum with the other half.
All right.
So that it loosens it, cork the thermos, shake it, and then put it back in my thing.
Gonna take a swig of that.
Yeah, I'll try it.
All right.
See if it's loose enough.
Yeah, you might as well be drinking a straight syrupy wine. Like it might as well be actual syrup, like maple syrup.
Yeah, that's why I want to half and half it so it's an actual like beverage and not like
Oh no,
something
it's
that you have with
still
bread.
thick at half and half. But now it
Man,
like tastes like a really cheap, sweet wine. Also, for some
man,
reason, the alcohol burn got worse.
Probably the plum rum.
man, why come the other Twitch peoples that I want to watch gots to be active when we're doing this shit? Big Sag.
If we have to change the day, we can try.
It's not gonna matter. Like, negativity bias is gonna kick in, and whenever we're on, I'm gonna notice, oh, hey, that person's on. I can't watch them.
I do that
Moving
every
on.
time I go live.
While she's doing that, after getting to like half of his tankard, uh, he excuses himself a moment, goes to the bar or whatever setup they have for it, and asks for a pitcher of water.
All right.
Hmm. Do they also have those honey bars?
They do. There's a small bowl of them on the counter.
Alright, he'll grab some of those while they're there. She probably voiced interest in those.
Yeah. I wanted to see where my ration supplies were because where is it?
They
I wanted to
were
replace them.
basically, yeah, they were basically nowhere. All the food we had was
Yeah, all the
when we
stuff that
went
we
to the
had is
tower,
rum.
so all we have at this point is however many of those rat kebabs are left. Been what, a few hours since we
How
got
many of
those?
these bars count
Or wait,
towards
no,
like
that was a
days
few
worth of
days ago.
rations?
I would say like 2 to 1.
2 bars to 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
And how many bars are in here? Like,
I'm gonna say we ate at least
like
half of
20.
those.
Did you just take a whole bowl of like take one?
Because honey is like a preservative, I was going to take like 10 of them for 5 days.
Okay, you empty out the bowl. She notices it's empty and goes to get more.
That gives me a breath of relief. I put down a gold in the bowl just for the sake of I didn't want to be the one to, just completely empty the bowl.
She doesn't even notice.
For her troubles.
She walks away, and you swear she's barely moving as she walks away, but you can hear the steps.
Morticia.
Is it actually like a bunch of steps, or just a step and then like half a minute later another step?
She takes a bunch of little steps.
Okay.
So it's also just like Morticia Adams walking, like she's static going across the floor. Haunting.
Yes,
So Merrick, you're kind of kicking back, listening to the guards, talk behind you. You get the sense from listening to their conversation that this particular battalion of guards behind you is the one that dropped off the prisoner, and they're talking about it as if they did it yesterday.
So the prisoner showed up before we even left. What was the actual time frame? Because I know we had to spend like a couple days to get May like fully rested.
It's been like 2.5 days since you've seen the prisoner in the city.
Okay.
You maybe blame it on the alcohol.
I mean, until we have another reason, yeah. But I just needed to clarify for my own edification. Also, speaking of the 2 days, do you think 6 rat kebabs from the 11 is fair during that time, or like how long will those even last?
I don't know. You checked their viability?
I didn't check at the time. I know how long they'd last because it's already been a couple days. So if they're starting to stink, I'd be able to tell. Like,
Well, I mean,
the player, forgot about that.
I
would not have.
I would say that when you were walking through the woods, you could tell that in the next day or two you had to get rid of them. Now that you're in town, take another look at them to see just how bad they are. They're like decaying. They've shriveled up. Almost like a week has passed on them.
Desiccated.
He'd just throw them all out then.
Yo, a Todd Howard rat kebab.
Dwarf scurries over to the dried up shrivel, grabs it and eats it.
Speaking of rats, look at the chat.
Where do you want them?
Your horns.
You know what?
Where do you want
I want
them?
it on my head.
I don't think that's possible. We're a part of the foreground, background, overlay, something like
no,
that.
I can do this.
Oh, okay.
I just gotta find it. Oh, yeah, please continue with what you're doing while I attempt to figure out where this rat is.
Yeah. Well, what I was doing, like, I was just verifying something out of character so that all of us knew exactly how wrong that was or wasn't. But what I was doing in character was just waiting for a pitcher of water.
Alright. She brings over a pitcher of water and asks if you guys need more bread.
So happy. Anyway.
Are we happy?
The fuck was I gonna... Oh. I don't know about my compatriots, but considering the one seems to have emptied your bowl, I don't think she'll be needing any bread. I will ask Zephyr when I get back, and if he wants more bread, I'll flag you down. Does that sound good?
He gives you a nod and a tiny smile. You can see that she's missing several teeth.
He smiles back, and the fact that she's missing teeth he actually finds vaguely charming. So
May the light guide you, stranger.
I'm sorry, what did she say?
May the light guide you, stranger.
And you, dear. He right, did you want anything for the pitcher of water?
No. Water.
Okay. So he gives her a nod and then he goes to sit down at the table. The nice old lady wanted to know if we wanted bread. I'm pretty sure you're good, points at May. What about you, Zephyr?
I wouldn't mind a little, sure.
He flags her down then.
She notices your attention from the farthest part of the building and slowly shovels her way over.
Oh, I didn't realize we were the furthest we could be. Never mind. I wouldn't have said
She
that. I would have
approaches the
said
table. What can I do for you, dearie? We have 3 different types of bread. We've got one with little meat chunks in it. We've got ones that have berries and nuts in it. And we have sap bread.
while this is happening, he pours the like some of the thing into his tankard and starts trying to mix it so it's more of a liquid than a solid. A goopy solid.
Oh, I like a little with the meat in it.
Sure, any particular kind of meat, dear?
Mm,
We don't recommend pork because it makes the bread a little soggy, but if you'd like it, I can get it.
What about rat meat?
He looks at you concerned.
beef, beef is fine, ma'am.
Okay, give me a couple minutes. Like a full minute before she even gets back around the counter.
Oh, that's a chonker.
You big old baby.
Yeah, that's pretty much yours.
Me holding
Just-
up Tarragon.
Yep. Like I said, that's pretty much yours. It's just he'd be a lot longer.
Good. So yeah, do you continue to listen to their conversation? Or are you trying to see if you can pick up something specific, Mary? I'm curious what the intention is. Or is it just to pick up like news?
Just to pick up news.
Alrighty, let me roll on my fancy dancy news table. Alright. So first one of the guards is, I can't wait for your caravan to come pick us up. We'll be here in a day or two. But by the way, those caravan ever come back from Kavzar? I gotta get me more ale. Hey, a second. Goes over to the tankard. He very slowly rocks back and forth as if the sap is trying to sloosh around.
I didn't know Weasel Wednesday was a meme. No wonder we have our session on Wednesdays then.
Shut up.
Alright. I'm gonna try to stop paying attention to the server. I probably should have set myself to do not disturb. There we go. Okay. How easy is it to eavesdrop? Do we actually have to make like investigator perception rolls to hear the guards next to us?
Merrick sat as close as he could without like drawing suspicion, so Merrick does not need to. But if you guys also want to pick up on it, I would like perception rolls.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be playing Tarragon.
I mean, he'd have. Well, hold on. Would he have noticed before? That's why he sat here. Oh yeah, no, he 100% noticed. That's why Merrick Zephyr sat here. So he'll attempt to listen in. I'll probably roll shit. Oh no, that's a decent roll. 19 perception.
You hear about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a few words are missing just because you're a little further away from him than he is. Uh, the next thing they kind of go into conversation about is one of their friends comes in from outside. Oh, he's talking about how Blessed Sigmar is coming to put these people in their place. I'll have to worry about the Morks and Chaos Raiders much longer. Oh God, my stomach. It feels like a rock.
He's quite tempted to say something, but considering he knows he's carrying their most conspicuous passenger, not passenger, party member, he thinks better of it.
Mm, I dip my bread into my mug again and just take a big old yum.
So with it being at this point half water, half ale, or whatever you want to call that. Actually, no, I got a better name for it. Mega mead.
Mega mead.
Mega.
Half that stuff. What is its consistency now? Still more viscous than water, I'm sure, but is it more like a normal beer? Still more viscous than beer? I would imagine more viscous than beer by a significant margin.
Uh, I would say it's gone from like a molasses to like a ketchup.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's much simpler, so like it's still thicker than he's accustomed to drinking, but now he can like actually drink it, whereas before it was like ketchup doesn't flow much, but it flows
Is this just an alcoholic version of high fructose corn syrup?
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
By the way, it's definitely not roughly Halloween time in campaign.
Dang.
Totally not.
Halloween isn't a thing in the Warhammer realm, but you know.
I mean, you said before it was close to harvest, so it is close to when they would be having it.
They
If
are
it
celebrating
is.
a harvest.
Yep.
Erda kind of tells
yeah,
you that, like seeing you guys constantly try to thin this. She tells you that one of the ways you can drink it is heating it up.
he
I look at my thermos and then I put it in the fire.
he pauses at that and then looks at his cup, but like furiously finishes the one he has, grabs another tankard, and waits to see what like how exactly it reacts to being heated before heating it himself.
All right, so you can see that next to the tankard, there's a couple little spots to heat it up. It seems to take a couple minutes, and there's people that wait in that line, and then there's people that don't. When it heats up, it seems to actually turn into more of like a viscous syrup, like it actually runs, rather than staying thick.
How's my thermos doing?
What was your thermos made out of? I'm pretty sure it's not made out of metal.
No, it was made out of metal. I had it made by the guy that was at the guild, remember? It was one
Oh
of my
yeah,
copies,
okay,
so I
yeah.
could
Well, it doesn't
just put
have
it in my
any of the
campfire.
fancy trimmings on it anymore, but now it's a metal charred thermos. Thermos.
It wasn't made by the guy that does my gloves. It wasn't Dwalin. It never had those fancy things on it to begin with. I got it from the guild.
Yeah, it
Like,
still had like the guild logo on it. It
Yeah.
was in a soft copper. It's now melted off.
why would they?
To be fair, it's not meant to be thrown into a fire.
Yeah.
The whole
You threw
idea
it into the
for it was
fire,
to
you-
put it in a fire, like while we're camping, so that I can warm up my.
I-
What was it?
To be fair,
You
on
just said you threw it in the fire now.
to be fair, I was thinking more like you set it on a stone next to the fire, not throw it into the fire.
Meh.
You want to take that one back? I'll give you that one.
Does it count towards the campaign's mulligan?
No.
No. That's
Okay, can we? Okay, all right. Can we not all be rules lawyers about this stuff?
This isn't a rules lawyer. This has nothing to do with game mechanics. This has everything to do with role play.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
We're also Tia and I are just giving Lil a hard time for shits and giggles.
And right here it says a 3 centimeter iron tube crucible thermos.
Yeah, the thermos itself is fine. Maybe charred
Just
if you
the copper inlining is just gone.
Yeah.
Because whose bright idea was to put copper around it?
I don't know, somebody at the guild.
It's extra money. We'll make profit on it, trust me.
It just works.
Anyway, so she's heated it up.
Mm-hmm.
It now behaves like more
Uh,
of that.
Actually,
so
she threw her thermos in there, which already had alcohol in it, specifically rum.
Uh-huh.
Now you've kind of got like a fireball in your mug. You've kind of diluted out some of the alcohol, and it's now this really like spicy, sweet sip.
Bruh. I'm gonna give it to some of my party members so that they can get like a taste of it.
I happily accept.
It's a thick fireball.
I'll accept some too.
Oh,
Surprisingly good.
that has even more of a kick to it. What did you add?
Ooh,
Just plum
Ooh.
rum, and then I heated it.
Interesting.
ooh.
You
He
know what?
goes
My.
to heat up his present tankard. See what it's like, warm, hot, whatever you want to call it. When it's
I'll heat
just
mine up
the
too.
mega mead.
The matron here. I wanna actually like show her what I've discovered. Ask her if she wouldn't mind tasting this because I added just a little bit of something from here.
All right. She starts to shuffle across the room as your companions get their heated cups. As I said, it does soften a bit. It becomes a lot more malleable. Drinking it, the heat has kind of gotten rid of some of the sweet, and instead you feel more of the alcoholic burn as it goes down, almost like a vodka.
Ooh.
Hmm.
To be fair, the point of the drinking contest was to drink all these cold. So you can have it either way. It doesn't matter. It's just that I wanted to make something that had a lot of stupid properties to it.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, that's why he was so impressed that the
Customizability.
guy... Yeah, that's why he was so impressed that anybody managed to down 56 of these 3 hours or not. Like, this is a lot. It's extremely heavy.
I never said he
and
survived.
It takes a very long time to, like, drink an entire glass.
I don't want to imagine how this is supposed to leave your system after you drink it.
I mean, as a thought of thinking about it, you could also rub this on wounds. It's a sterile antibiotic sap.
True, it's basically honey.
Anyway, she finally comes over. What do you want, dearie? I got your bread.
Something. Oh, thank you. I grabbed the loaf and like nom a chunk of it, and then
That's
with
Zephyr's.
a cheekful, I tell her that I've made a discovery. As I hand Zephyr the bitten into piece of loaf that I was handed.
She gives it a sniff and she tells you that unfortunately she can't drink alcohol.
Aw.
It makes my face swell up, sweetie.
Well, I discovered something of a very interesting design. After heating up the sap and adding plum rum to it, it gives it a very interesting luster.
That sounds interesting. Anything else I can get for you, dearies?
Whatever Zephyr was having as I swallow. Just one of my own.
A loaf of meat for your stummy. You got it.
For my stomach. Aww.
Back to scuffing across the floor.
Well, before she scuffles away, I do stop her to ask if the whole face swelling thing is an allergic reaction or what.
It's allergic.
Tree sap could be some kind of pollen related and
Oh no,
stuff.
it's not the sap, it's alcohol.
Yes,
Oh.
she said she can't drink alcohol, which is rather unfortunate for somebody who works in a bar. Well, I
You can
suppose
get
you
it.
also man the rest of the inn as well.
You
But
can
No.
get it on you, right? Just not consume it.
Yes?
Well, like you said, you're allergic. Usually, allergic reactions are any kind of contact, any swell up.
it depends.
No worries, sweeties. I'll be okay. I've got my sap-based tea this weekend.
All right, just making sure.
Did she look this setting's equivalent of Asian?
No,
Okay.
she's white old granny.
Okay. Because I know, there's something weird about their biology that,
As you guys are settling into some more of your drink, getting ready to start a conversation, you hear a thud. Then another thud.
like the kind of thuds of heads hitting tables because people have been drinking too much.
No, the entire bar has grown quiet. You hear the thuds from upstairs. Thud, thud, thud. As you guys are right next to the stairs, you can see this bulbous man kind of scraping his stomach along the walls on his way down. He's wearing a shirt that says number 1 on it.
Oh, okay.
I wonder who that could be.
Oh, okay, yes, that makes way more sense now.
I'd hate to see number 2.
I'm sure he wants to see number
Meteorite
3
is...
more than anything anyway.
He goes over to the bar and takes a seat. You just immediately hear the creaking of the stool underneath him as he asks for 10 more rounds.
Does he?
Oh, it's him.
No.
Yeah. It had number 1 on it. How did you not put whatever?
Oh, the competition. Yeah, I just realized.
Does he only sit on one stool? It sounds like that man should sit on 2.
Just on one. And as he announces that he wants 10 more, the entire bar erupts into cheers.
I curiously look if the guards also erupt into cheers.
Yeah. You see one guard in the corner, a slightly larger guard. Yeah, he's got a number 2 pin on him.
Do we also have the number 3 in here?
No, number 3 is not here.
I wanted to point that one out to her.
Or to just comments that that's a lot of man.
It explains how he had 56 of those things in 3 hours.
Like I said, it's more sap than it is alcohol.
Yes.
But I can imagine that much sap sitting in your stomach hardening. He's going to be an amber processing plant by the time he's done.
Looking at the size of that man, I would wager that he was already a process.
Hi, Gail.
Anyway, that's my commentary on it.
You guys,
May has done hers. How does Zephyr react to the mountain of man coming down and ordering 10 more glasses of this super thick stuff?
I'm just kind of standing there, like sort of dumbstruck that a person could get that large.
So you're standing there just sort of looking like, hold on,
at,
this? Like the Lisa meme?
well, you're watching. You see your mother come down, Zephyr. She goes up to the counter, places a few coins down, and the old woman seems to hand her popsicle sticks made of tree sap.
Ah,
She waves to you as she makes her way back upstairs.
I wave back with a smile. Uh, I think I'm gonna go check on her and my sister.
reasonable.
All right, you make your way upstairs. You find yourself at the room. You open the door, following in behind her. It's easy enough to find. You see that you got one of the center rooms of the building. There's definitely enough room in here for everyone to cot side to side. Not very comfortably, but you can. There's just so many of you, and there was only the one room. Uh, you and Jalen have now kind of noticed that the biggest problem of this room is going to be for you, and that's the window. This bar has one giant window in its center room, and its center is focused on Kavzar. What a beautiful sight.
Come on.
It almost seems like weeks ago that you were in Kavzar. Maybe it was weeks. Who knows? Your sister happily gets her hands on one of the popsicles and asks, Zephy, you come up for some popsicles? Some popsicles. Popsicles?
Yes, I would love one.
She breaks off the second one of hers and she hands it to you. It's
I
his
take a couple bites of it.
Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
I think he's fucking with you, but,
Oh, am I?
is it alcoholic?
No, it's not alcoholic. You're trying to take a bite out of hardened tree sap.
Yeah, this is like what? Rock? Like it's shaped like a popsicle, but it's closer to rock candy,
Uh-huh.
yes?
18.
All right. You go to take a confident bite. You didn't really think it'd be hard. You immediately feel your teeth kind of, and then you're not sure whether to commit or go for it, so you just kind of back a little bit and bite off a corner. It's almost like just chewing straight sugar.
I feel like this would be more of a strength check. But
Nah.
whatever.
Well, the roll was to see if he broke his teeth. You can bite rock candy. I didn't say how successful it'd be. You kind of start corner crunching it a little bit. I think after a minute or two, you realize you're not really supposed to chew it. One of those things you just kind of suck on.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a popsicle. You don't chew those. You sensuously lick them.
But yeah, you've got this nice 2-story view that kind of looks over the majority of the town, which is 1-story buildings. You can see the forest. In the distance, you can see the lake cliff that you passed a couple hours ago. You can see some winding trails in and out of the forest, though it's too hard to tell where they're going. Like, for stopping the spacing between the trees. And you can see Kavzar. Kavzar is tiny in the distance, but that tower is like like you recognize it at any distance at this point. So long as it is in the horizon, you know where it is.
I think the word you were looking for is unmistakable.
Unmistakable, that's it. I was gonna say unreasonable. I was like, no, why is it unreasonable?
Well, it is a very unreasonable tower.
But you can see it, and from this distant perspective, the rain clouds don't even look like rain clouds over here. They seem to be a carpet within the mountain range itself. They don't seem to be like the actual sky. They just seem to hang over the city. The city almost has this opaque look to it around the clouds.
It's not ominous at all.
And of course, you can see the glow of Murskatar in the sky above, shining down its eerie green light. Of course, here in
What?
Murskatar is the green moon, the small one.
Oh.
I don't know why that one has a name, and then the big one is just called the moon. Rug. I don't make the Warhammer rules.
It's true, you don't.
You see this. You can see looking around, like this is a nice wide window. Over by the lake out in the woods, you see some kind of like campfire because it's only a few hours out. And it looks like there's figures rapidly passing back and forth in front of it. So you can't really make out what.
Sorry. What? My dog was going crazy.
So from the window, another thing you can see is that near the lake you guys passed by the cliffside, there's like a campfire glow. Though it's too hard to make out like any specific details, you see figures constantly passing back and forth in front of it rapidly, as if perhaps engaged in a dance or something. Or combat. Who knows? Your mother says that despite it looking over Kavzar.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I'm gonna cut back downstairs.
I get a feeling somebody's dog was a barking.
Isn't that what it sounds like?
Well, like he told me which dog was, so I should remember its name. But anyway, it's the older one, and it's just he has a habit of like howling, and the way he howls at this time of night is
Okay. He was locked in my bathroom.
Aww.
poor little dummy.
So yeah, you guys are down at the table, Maya and Dahak and Erda. Erda kind of climbs off your shoulder for a bit to grab some of this bread and chew on it, and goes back up, trying to be inconspicuous. No one seems to notice her. May, what are you up to?
Looking at the back of my glove and kind of stroking my thumb across the metal plating of this copper leather. Copper plated leather. Kind of like
So
surprised with the craftsmanship because I'm not an expert, I think this is like one of the best things I've ever seen.
So you're looking over your glove, which, like you said, has some copper trimming to it. The copper trimming looks like it's blued a bit.
Already?
Glued.
Oh, glue?
No, blued.
Not blue.
Blued.
Yeah, blue.
Like a
As in
tarnished.
the color blue. Like, yeah, it's tarnishing the color blue, not the color green.
Yep, blue. Like I think it's called oxidization.
It's oxidizing, yes.
Yeah, oxidizing.
Huh.
So does copper turn blue before turning green?
No, I'm just
Slowly.
I'm just using it this way because it'd be easier than describing it's turning green and you guys freaking out that it's warpstone.
We're not freak out that it's warpstone. We're familiar with copper. We're unfamiliar with warpstone. Like, I was asking because it's weird that it's turning blue. It shouldn't be turning blue.
It's
That
turning
would
blue.
indicate it's something other than copper.
It's that greenish blue oxidization from
Okay.
It's
age and
turning the
water.
shades of liberty.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway,
Whew.
oh, right. No, that's still on you, so,
May.
what are you doing about your already tarnishing gloves?
Sorry, my fan fell down.
What are you doing
Don't
about
worry.
your gloves?
Like looking at him and staring at the tilt with them tilt of my head at them, kind of like confused why they're turning that color.
Erda kind of asks, didn't you just buy those ones from that lusty dwarf?
Is something wrong?
Yeah, like my gloves already like look like they're all aged.
He takes a closer look and then pauses and looks at his own equipment. Has it aged unreasonably?
Anything that easily shows age after some mistreatment does. Like any like just kind of like raw iron buttons. They actually look like they might be taking on slight bits of rust as if they had sat out for 2 weeks in the rain.
His eyes narrow and he checks his plague mask.
The plague mask is about the same as you had it. There's nothing super like erosive on it, though some of the leathers that make up the beak seem a bit darker than they should.
He frowns and then takes a good long. Oh, wait, no, hold on. She's an elf. Hmm. Cows
Alright,
are
well,
significantly longer lived than the rest of us, aren't they?
Then in your party, yes.
Like, he'd start to take a closer look at May, then frown, realize it's pointless. I need to go check on Zephyr. He goes up to the room.
yeah, I'm kind of just sitting there having like those kind of honey popsicles.
Yeah. And, the hawk walks in the room.
Zephyr, we needed you downstairs a moment.
All right, I'll be there in a second.
Whenever you catch up with him, you notice he's stopped, like, at the stairway or however is far enough that your family will not be able to see or hear what he's about to do.
Zephyr, you approach the hawk at the top of the stairs.
All right, I kind of boop Astrid's nose before I go
Where you
before I
He
go?
stops you from going downstairs.
She giggles, by the way.
I didn't need you to go downstairs. I just didn't want to worry your family. Hold still, please. He looks over Zephyr a while, extremely close. Does he himself show signs of aging?
He does. His beard and his hair seem to have grown as if perhaps a few weeks have passed rather than a few days.
Oh no. Our stint in the tower has still affected us.
That's curious.
Like, it doesn't seem like, a ton of time has flown by, but certainly more
I
than.
know. I know, but that's what happens, Merrick. He stops him, takes a close look, and then says that I need a reaction from Zephyr.
I we're 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 aging faster. I kind of whisper back.
He nods. I first noticed when May was admiring her glove and it was already deteriorating. Now, her previous pair weren't of the best quality, but I don't think even that crazy old dwarf is as shoddy a craftsmanship that the copper on her gloves should already be rusting. I checked my own equipment. It was also aging. I don't know where a mirror in here would be. So you were the next best thing to checking myself, since you and I age at approximately the same rate. May is an elf. Shrugs. I don't think she'd show any hastened aging even if we're at an increased rate, at least not one that I would necessarily be qualified for. But yes, it appears as though all of us and our stuff are aging. I think our stuff is aging faster than we are. I'm not 100% on that.
What what do we do? What should we do?
Not tell your family for starters. They have been traumatized enough. What we do now is we go back to the table and discuss my findings.
I kind of kind of nod and follow him back downstairs.
Before they head down, he looks to wherever Erda is and says, "Whenever you get back to human form, I'll need to assess your condition as well. You weren't in the tower, but
I
it
don't think
wouldn't
I've changed.
surprise." Hmm?
She tells you that she doesn't think she's changed.
Yes, I didn't think I had changed either. Just because you weren't in the tower doesn't mean you weren't subject to the days upon days of
I
mass
was.
rain. That
The
could
hog doesn't
also
know it.
be it for all we know. I need to assess you.
All right. He starts climbing down your arm.
Not now. Not now.
Mm, Shrug.
I
Climbs back up.
might be able to assess your age as a rat. I can't. I can only assess it as a human, and I don't want you turning human here. That's the whole point of you being a rat.
She sighs. Gets back next to your collar.
He shrugs and now heads down.
You return to the table. The old lady has come back with more bread. She says if you need anything else, to just give her a call.
Aww.
He gives a thumbs up.
Grandma, I need more beer. Big guy at the counter. Bar cheers.
Uh, he blinks. He's like, You know, the dumb way things have been progressing lately. Who wants to bet that that guy's actually the captain of the guard? He shushes Erda if she speaks up.
He doesn't say anything.
Bah.
Well, since no one wants to take a fun wager, I have some bad news, May.
Hmm?
The condition of your gloves is not due to shoddy craftsmanship.
Well, I wasn't thinking that.
We are aging a lot faster than we should, and so is our equipment.
I look at him confused and then take out my bow and look at my string.
Your string seems relatively the same.
What about the wood made to make the bow? What was it?
I mean,
The cherry wood longbow that I have?
there may be like some water spots are on it, but those would be normal from the rain, though they seem to have progressed in their formation a little faster. Otherwise, it's
Hmm.
mostly the same.
Do
It-
you have any metallic equipment other than those daggers we pilfered from the wreck?
Hmm.
I kind of look at my sword.
your sword is fine.
Yeah, it's magical.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna give a brief description, so we're not going through every individual item. Anything that could show relative age through sitting out in, say, the weather shows a bit of wear and tear. If it's something you have to use to really wear down, like your bowstring, like, yeah, sitting in the rain would ruin it. It seems fine. Anything that, could persist as if moving forward a little bit too fast is changed. You don't
Anything
physically feel older, but you do know that things that are on you seem to have aged. Like those rat shish kebabs went from being live and plumpy in 2 days to shriveled and dead.
Yeah, and so, like, okay, it's not just anything that could oxidize, but anything that is similarly prone to degradation, like oxidization, is showing hastened signs of it. Noted.
Hmm.
So,
Bah.
what do we do about this? I don't know that we can do anything about it. I certainly don't know anything about chronomancy.
It's certainly something that we're gonna have to look into.
Heard a comments on your previous statement with Zephyr about the tower. Why do you think it has something to do with the tower?
We,
Well,
we were we were in the, we went in there for maybe an hour. When we came back out, they said we were gone for almost half a day, and it looked like we had been.
we went in, it felt like an hour to us. When we came out, 13 had passed. The same amount of hours as that cursed clock chimes every hour on the hour.
I didn't notice that while I was in the tower.
When were you in the tower?
I was in a little behind you guys.
Here, if we're going to collude, you need to
So-
share all information.
Wait,
A little
remember
behind does not help.
remember when we were in the tower and I said that we had incoming in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
They must have been that figure because, like, we weren't flanked at all.
That
He nods.
were you? And how long did you stay in the tower?
Only a little bit more than you guys. I checked the other side to see if both ends of the graves got ripped up.
How long were you in the tower itself? We weren't in the graveyard for that long. We were mostly exploring the tower.
Probably less than you then, because I just went in, came back after going. I went through to the other graveyard, came back in, saw you guys were leaving, went back to the tree, so I didn't, go the same way, and then jumped over the wall.
Well, if it wasn't the tower, then it was likely our exposure to the door. Do you remember what it looked like when Jalen opened it?
I do. I mean, the city looked completely deserted and abandoned.
That likely wasn't some sort of horrible gateway to another reality. That was a gateway to the future. Or something along those lines. Drugs. I imagine that's the source of our time discrepancy either way.
Curtis shrugs, but agrees with the concept of it.
Did you ever interact with the door, Erda?
She says no. Though
Then that's the only point of
now that she's thinking about it, she does have a dagger that rusted away a little bit.
a good reason for me to assess your condition when the opportunity arises. Regardless, we probably shouldn't be talking too much more about it while everybody's too drunkenly reveling. The more we talk about this in a public space, the worse off we are. Also, why focus on problems? I'd rather continue to get drunk. Downs the rest of his hot tankard.
You guys could always explore the town. This town is actually it is late, but the town itself has not like a bunch of night attractions, but the fresh air could help as it's not raining here.
He shrugs. I'm still going to finish the beer we have, and then we can go on a night walk. To be clear, you would still have to be motions to her present form if we go on a walk. If anything, it's probably more important for that.
Work on drinking the rest of my stuff and maybe try some of that meat bread.
Meat bread is meat bread.
He nods to the table of guards. After all, I don't believe any of those are the guard captain, yes?
She takes a moment to look over that group. She shakes her head. She tells you that that's the group that dropped off the prisoner.
Then I would say it's all the more important that you remain a rat unless we are in a closed, private room.
But being a rat is stinky.
Well, now he's curious. He sniffs at her.
And she smells like a wet rat. Mainly because, no one ever dried off after coming in and she's just been crawling around your guys' outfits.
Yeah. He shrugs. You're no worse than any wet animal, and goes back to drinking.
May, what do you do with this new information? I'm curious.
I look at I'm sorry about unmuting and then immediately just crunching.
Didn't hear it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, like if you had muted yourself at all, we didn't notice.
Yeah, I was snacking while I was listening.
Also, like, why not just switch to push to talk?
I did
Because
forget.
it's easier to flip the mic up.
Nah.
But yeah, new information. I kind of just take off one of the gloves and run my like bare hand across it. Little saddened that, you know, my mere presence is starting to make it age longer more quickly, or at least like the environment that it was from is what was doing it.
I forget. Did you get a receipt this time?
I believe I believe I did, but I didn't take it.
Oh, oh no. Go on.
Um, After looking at my glove, I want to look at Tarragon just a little bit. Besides the whole longer claws, green, slightly glowing eyes, is there anything else up with him?
Absolutely not. He seems completely and utterly fine.
Hmm. I say that at least other living organisms don't seem to be affected by it. Hmm.
He, like, since she said that, he takes a closer look at Tarragon and shrugs. Given his warped features, it's entirely possible that whatever is going on with us is imperceptible on him now.
Hmm. Also,
Mm,
when did that happen? I don't think
just
you pointed it out.
oh, but what do you mean? I smile at him nervously, trying to hide the claws in my fans.
He shrugs. I haven't been paying an awful lot of attention to Tarragon. It would not surprise me if, with him being smaller, he is hastened by the corruptive force that was turning people into rat zombies.
What? No, Tarragon's perfectly fine. He's the way that he's always looked. What are you talking about?
I don't remember his nose looking that rat like, nor do I
Nah,
remember his eyes looking that malignant.
nah, he's always been
Nor,
like that. Are you okay, Dahak? Are you feeling alright?
like, at that, he frowns and looks at you directly. I don't know what game you're playing, dear, but this is serious.
I hide Tarragon in my cloak. It is very serious. Your health is a concern of ours because you're the guy that's holding us together right now.
He shrugs
Erda
and
just stares at
pats
you with a narrowed gaze.
her head. It's going to come out in time, dear. The more you try to hide it, the worse off you and Tarragon will be. And he leaves it at that.
Man, Zephyr's beard gotten gray, huh?
I just said long, I didn't say gray.
It sounded like you were saying gray at first, but then you just said had grown, and I was like, oh.
Like
I guess that makes way more sense.
significantly, like you now that you're like focusing on it, like oh hey, this got way longer. What
Oh
the
man,
fuck?
his mustache is really long. It's past his lips.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I hadn't realized it yet until Tahak pointed it out.
I don't believe any of us realized anything until you noticed that points at her already rusting copper gloves.
I put it back on. It could just be equipment and hair follicle. That's it.
We don't know. We should assume the worst and prepare for the worst, and then hopefully be pleasantly surprised for once.
I've heard there's a pretty good medicine man in this town.
We can see them in the morning then. I doubt they're open this late.
Wouldn't know till we tried.
Either way, finishes his tankard. We didn't really have a destination in mind for our walk. Are the rest of you ready to go, or did you want to have some more drinks and stuff?
I'm still kind of waiting for my mead bread.
She brought it already.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
start
but
getting
when
that.
I returned, she had all the stuff we asked for was already here.
Yeah, I eat it.
Okay.
And then the idea was for us to go out camping, or are we gonna hang out with Zephyr's family?
Yeah, because comfortably rooming.
Idea was for us to walk around town where we could more loosely talk. Motions with his eyes to the fact that they're still stationed next to a bunch of guards.
Right.
They haven't noticed us.
Well,
I have learned not to take chances, thanks to our rodent.
fresh air might do us some good.
Also that.
Speaking of your rodent friend, all of a sudden, as you're getting ready to pull yourself up, you feel her nudge the side of your face.
Yeah, he looks in that direction, yeah.
She's pointing to some flyer that's up behind the bar.
Oh boy, is it a flyer of her husband?
It's a calendar.
Okay.
The days are all X'd off, and it says the festival, written on and drawn on. It says it's the day after the festival. But Erda told you guys that the festival was 3 days ago.
Wait a minute. Is the entirety of Kavzar under this time dilation thing?
Seems so, but after that long sigh, he points that out to the others. We need to leave the premises to discuss this. Let's go.
You guys
I
make
stare at
your...
the calendar and agree, getting up, grabbing my thermos and putting it on my hip.
I take whatever tankard I was. Well, actually, hold on. At this point, I've had 2. There were 6 total. How many have the rest of you had? If there's anything left, he'll grab whatever's left.
I believe I've only had
1.
like a couple of dips of bread in mine.
Mm-hmm.
So probably
I've
not
had
even a full one.
And I've had about half of mine.
So that leaves 2 whole tankards that haven't been touched. Alright, he grabs one of those and takes it on the walk with him.
You guys step out into the cool night of the city of Toboro.
As we walk out, I tell the hawk that, sap is pretty flammable, and you could use a bunch of like dried leaves, bark scraps, wood shavings, any kind of like kindling paired with it to make a easy fire starter kit.
I suppose if the tankards are still there when we get back, we could make use of them that way. This is alcoholic. I have yet to experience a buzz, as I imagine it's still just sitting in my stomach.
Yep.
I want to make sure that I get at least a buzz. Also, with this being alcoholic, I imagine it's even more flammable than normal.
Yep, definitely. So stepping out into the street, the thing you kind of get greeted with is the cool wash of sea air. As Tobro isn't directly against the ocean, but the ocean isn't terribly far away. You can smell it kind of blowing up. There's a kind of like a frosty tinge to the air that nips at the nose.
Wasn't there like a port or a harbor or something very close by, and that was another reason why we wanted to get the Fanes to Toboro?
Yeah, you're also going there to pick up the noble, so.
I know.
But yeah, the streets are mostly empty at this point. Erda kind of looks around. She climbs down. She kind of just starts stretching.
Alright. While she's doing that. So, which way was the medicine man? We may as well go towards that establishment.
She thinks about it for a second and says, I'm pretty sure he's the western edge of the city, right before the mountain. Just a little out of the town.
Well, we probably shouldn't leave the town, but I don't see any reason we can't explore the western part of it. Thought looks to the you two
Bah.
and sips from his tankard.
I swirl my thermos about and take a long sip.
Considering that we just saw a calendar, what was the quest ledger dated?
Was I the last one to have it?
A good question, and I think logistically, yes, because you were the one who was directly talking to her when we mentioned this shit.
I pull it back out and look at it.
It's marked 3 days from now, not 2, like you were told by the wonderful Guildmarm. So you still have...
So, 3 days from now, meaning 3 days from the day after the festival?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we still have like 2-3 days.
We still have 3 days because we have somehow gained a day thanks to time shenanigans. Huh. Well, we're definitely not going to be in any type of a rush, so that's good.
Does that mean that time in Kavzar is going faster?
We won't really know until we hang around in Toboro for a few days and then head back after making sure that the guard captain comes.
You guys want to go back?
Her husband is still in town.
Until we know for certain, it certainly seems time might be moving faster there.
If you don't want to go back, you don't have to, but after we've... Oh, right. Like, since I hadn't specified it, nobody said no. He's already started walking off in the general direction of the medicine man.
You could assume that we're following you.
Yeah. Just to make it clear that this conversation is not happening outside the inn. Or at least this portion of it, anyway. Once we have made sure that the guard captain can no longer commit any of his corrupt duties ever again, you're free to do what you want. You don't have to follow us back into Kabzar. I'm sure that place is nothing but misery and pain for you. I would appreciate it if you did, but I'm not going to hold you to it. Takes another sip.
I also take a sip from mine, but it's probably gotten cold by now. Or because it's in a thermos, would it keep its viscosity low?
Yours is in a thermos, so yours would actually retain heat far better than my tankard would. Though I also imagine your thermos has less liquid in it, so that might be a balancing factor.
It was half and half. So it's like the bottom of it is like the sap, and then above that is the rum. So unless I shake it,
Well,
it'll
yeah, no,
probably
that's
diffuse again.
that's not what I mean. I mean like I don't know how much is in your thermos, but it's probably not as much volume as the tankard has.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Like the ounces.
Yes,
So
those typically have more than a thermos. So while your thermos is far better at retaining heat
The
or cold.
the thermos, it's probably like 16 ounces.
anyway, the thermos size isn't super important, is it?
No, it's
Not
not. I
entirely.
was just mentioning that yours will stay hotter unless it's significantly less liquid than in my tankard.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you guys are walking around the city, and I'm gonna be honest, it's very like in comparison to what you've been dealing with. These, if you however you want to assume the time passed, I'm gonna leave it up to your personal imaginations rather than explain it. But
Yeah, like the past. So like
it felt
post
like
tower,
weeks.
post tower, it was a few days of time by our reckoning. In fact, no time has passed. Anyway, right, before you got on that,
But
I was going to say, and this is out of character, it's not that surprising. Like, this town isn't actually the center of the attack, invasion, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
So, all of the influence of the Skaven and let me guess, the only rat we see is the party member.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. She
Yeah,
keeps looking around. She
there
don't
isn't
want to be
even
a
a
rat
rat.
much longer.
There isn't even like a rat plague. There's probably the occasional rat because this is a town and rats live in towns. But it's not like look anywhere and you'll see at least one rat. Most likely several, as it is in Kabzar. They don't have a rat plague here.
I'll be honest. You haven't seen a single rat outsider in the whole city.
Thinking, like, upon noticing how nice it is by comparison, he does take a mental note of that and. Huh. You know, I hadn't noticed with all that's going on, but upon realizing how nice it is out here, the only rat I've seen is our party member. It's a rather pleasant change.
If you want, I can concentrate on our environment and try to pick up tracks to see if there are any, and if there were, where they went. But we can probably assume if there aren't any here, where the tracks would lead.
I don't particularly want to investigate it. I just noticed it and felt it bared mentioning.
You know, I'm actually
Of his
curious.
drink.
Seeing as what was it? The Northern Pine, right?
Yeah.
We went through the the Night
went-
Shroud Woods to get to Toboro.
We went north to
And-
get here, yes.
Oh, no, we went through the Northern Pine Woods to get to here. And the, what is it? My consensus to the vibe of the Force is that there's literally, like, little to no life in there. I want to investigate Pier if it feels like this place is more naturally, like, abundant. So, like, as we're walking, can I concentrate for,
Yeah.
like, an hour or so with my rangers? I think
Yes.
Natural Explorer. All right, good.
After a while of not seeing, a rat or a person, Erda kind of changes for a bit. Yeah, you kind of see her like straining her neck as she stands back up. It's like that kind of hurts to stay that size for a long period of time.
I
Takes
wouldn't
practice.
know. I can only assume it would be most awkward, even if it weren't from a physical discomfort. More disorienting to be a drastically different shape and size.
All I could smell is shoe polish.
Why?
Rugs low to the ground.
Hmm. Also shrugs.
I tried giving you a scarf so that it would dampen that effect.
Speaking of which, as she changed back to size, that little tiny scarf ripped.
It was meant to be temporary anyway.
I'm honestly surprised that you didn't say, speaking of which, she smacks you upside the head.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Why? I was literally looking out for her because I knew her tiny features would be overwhelmed.
You can try to gaslight all you want. We all know
What do
what
you-
you were really doing.
What? Who is gas? What? Doc, are you feeling okay? Do you need to lie down?
She just gestures to her body and says, "What about my features?"
I put my hands behind my upper back, lower back, tilt my hips, and say, "Well, they're features."
Folks, boobs grow.
What?
That's cheating.
She smirks at you.
Man, I wish I had DM magic to make my boobs bigger.
Makes boobs smaller.
No! No, not my moon.
Anyway.
Does the mass... Hold on. Does the mass shift to her ass?
Transfer student comes in out of nowhere with even bigger Gahanaga hoogs.
You guys are kind of you just wander.
Humongous humgalumga nonologungus.
You guys are walking the street. It's mostly quiet. Beating out. I think it beats out everyone's passive perception.
Hey, mine's 19.
Um,
So if it beats out a 19, I'm pretty sure it beats everybody.
Okay, so the hawk for just a moment, you catch a tail around the corner, a big tail. You're not sure what, but it was a tail.
I see. And when he turns to look in that direction, I'm guessing it's entirely gone.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Kevzar flashbacks.
Much as I don't want to follow that, I'll be back. He hustles over to the corner and peers around it.
As you peer around the corner, you see a light blue skinned dragonborn with a long crystalline tipped tail. She seems to be wandering around in confusion.
Frowns in confusion as well, but then lightens up. Are you lost?
Oh, um, no, I just looking around for a thing.
I can't help you find it unless you're more specific.
Forget the civilized word for it. Uh, it kind of makes a bull shape with her hands, and it's like a flag on top of it, and it go water.
A mojito?
What's the
Mojito.
word you're familiar with? I'm not sure what you're trying to describe.
Uh, the humans go in it on water.
Oh, boat.
A boat.
Oh, oh, oh!
Oh.
Claps happily.
Yeah.
You get a good look at her
Although,
attire as, she's now turned in for conversation. She seems to be wearing more of a tribalish outfit. Definitely not a fitting to the setting.
yeah. At this point, he switches to Draconic and says, you know we're both Dragonborn. If you have trouble speaking in common, you can speak to me and I will translate.
She looks at you as if she was understanding and then kind of faded out and then faded back in. You get the sense that this girl can't speak either language very well.
Okay, that's not.
Huh.
Hmm.
Is it racist of me to cast Speak with Animals?
Yes.
I don't know why it was the first thought I had because you said that you can't understand Common or Draconic.
Not fully. Alright.
Uh,
Pretty sure that's one of my
where
spell
are both?
directive. They would be over. You wouldn't know what that word is. Follow us. We start leading her towards it. Or at least
I
I.
hold my.
Yes,
I want to hold my hand
we'll
out.
show
so
you
that-
where they are.
I want to hold my hand out so that I can, show her that we don't mean any harm. Like, you can take my hand. We can lead you to the boats.
She looks at you, extending her hand toward you.
Oh, tongues. I have tongues. Okay, I can prepare tongues
My name
tomorrow.
is Eldalea. It is nice to meet you.
She's hesitant to grab your hand. I know a child with you. What's hand do I?
No child. What?
She means she's not a child. At that, though, he does pause and try to assess her age.
She's an adult. She's definitely an adult.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're a child or not. Everybody needs guidance every once in a while.
She blushes. Where boat? Where boat?
Follow us. We
We'll-
show boat.
Nods.
We'll
They
show you,
seem
yes.
they seem a little flustered.
I believe she's embarrassed because she can't speak as well as us. Shall we move on?
Nods. I walk over to them and, you know, hold Tarragon like a baby. Kind of gesturing towards them if they want to pet them.
Too small to have child.
What?
What?
What the fuck?
Oh.
She continues to follow you until she starts to see the water, where she gets really excited.
I know that. I guess that's what that would be. Gather an insight roll. Or...
Do you mind? Yeah, do you mind if I roll an insight on that as well? Seeing
Yeah.
it, or or should I be extra base and roll animal handling?
So I got a 16 insight on if I think she thinks Tarragon is her baby.
You get the sense that she thinks that May is flirting with her.
Oh. I do not share this information.
Oh my.
Well, no, it's not an oh my. It's more, oh, she thinks she's being flirted with. He almost tells her, but it's way more amusing if May keeps struggling with this.
I just want them to, be like, they seem tense. Is all I'm saying.
I
Like,
know. Like that you're trying to put them at ease. We, the players, know what you are trying to do. It's up to you if you roll insights to figure out. Oh no! Oh god! Oh geez!
would you mind if I roll insight?
Sure. I don't know. You're pretty
Um,
confused, though. I might have to penalize that roll.
by how much?
Roll at disadvantage, even.
Yeah, roll a disadvantage. You're
You
flustered
know
by
what?
this.
That sap is starting to get to me, and I did add plum rum to it, so disadvantage. That's a 5.
No, you're just you're confused about why she's blushing.
Have you never seen a giant weasel before?
She nods her head yes.
Well, this one's name is Tarragon, and he's a fluff ball. Would you like to hold him?
Would you like to hold my giant weasel?
Would you like to hold my fur baby?
Would you like to hold my fuzzy noodle?
Hmm.
He's soft right now. Don't worry about it.
But if you agitate him, he gets really hard.
Man, I'm so glad that this will go to YouTube and get demonetized.
Mm.
I
Oh
got
yeah, sure. It'll be demonetized for this, not any
Working
of the
this-
other unchild-friendly
We're-
stuff that's
we're-
gone on.
Working this hard to get content only to be demonetized. That's
oh,
fucking go.
oh my heart. So she shakes her head no. She puts up both hands and shakes her head back and forth like no 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 no. Still blushing, by the way.
I let Tarragon crawl up my arm, go around my neck, rub my face, and then just hang out around my collar. And I just shrug and says, "All right, it's whatever you're comfortable with. We're just here to help guide you to the boats."
So she takes a moment to look back.
Hold on. So how does this after react to all of this? You're
Yeah.
here too.
I'm just I'm just kind of just kind of like trying not to laugh at what's going on.
Herder is much the same, by the way. She just buys that for smirking.
Is she in human form, by the way?
Yes.
All right.
So seeing that the hawk is making all these, trying to actually communicate with her, she declines the weasel, turns back to the hawk. She, gestures the boat shape again on boat, and then she points at the symbol on your chest. Tia symbol.
Yeah.
Boat there.
If you've ever mentioned it, I don't know. Did I come to the sea by boat? The sea. Did I come to the city by boat?
Initially, yes. You came from across the sea, probably landed somewhere on the opposite shore, and then walked up to Kavzar.
Okay. Yes, that is how I got here from home. Do you want to go back home?
She shakes her head no. Yeah. Hand to pray. Points at symbol.
At the big tower.
Her
Frowns.
her eyes light up and she shakes her head up and down.
I look
Uh,
at the hawk with concern.
We have some bad news about the tower.
No, no bad news. Your great religious leader went. Red cause. All welcome.
Oh no, I went to Tabzar to spread the cause. That's not the problem. You're welcome there. We're all welcome there at town. The tower is another story.
She looks at you. She seems to immediately deflate. Her eyes kind of going wide, and she just looks at you. Why not?
First,
Aww.
dear, what is your name?
Cassie. Cass. 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 She keeps trying to form it in common, and she can't. You hear like
Say
the.
it in Draconic.
She's trying to do both at the same time, is the problem.
Just pick a language. Just one.
She mutters out in Draconic, Cassie.
What was the name of the noble we were supposed to pick up? Like, Erda's said that we're here for the guard captain, but all types of shit's mismatched.
That's not the guard captain's name. No worries.
Oh, I know that's not the guard captain's name. I'm asking for the exact name that we were sent to get.
Give me a minute to pull it up. So I make sure
I
you use the right
pull
one.
out the paper.
I said, give me a minute.
No. Yeah, wait.
Oh, I thought you said you had to pull up the paper.
I'm gonna pull
My
up.
bad.
Oh, you said give me a minute to pull it up.
You have any other questions while I'm hunting this very specific bit out?
How old do they seem?
Others might. Adult. She seems adult.
Oh, right. Well, they're like innocent kind of demeanor, and the fact that they're like tribal garb. Like, they seemed like young, adultish, you know?
Yeah. Like, all I got when I asked for specifics was, I'm not sure, but she's clearly an adult. So, I would also assume that she is a young adult.
She's also probably like an innocent and a Gentile, you know, like the fact that she butchers both Draconic and Common.
She's a stranger in a strange land, so there's
Exactly.
an inherent innocence to that. She's from a tribal society, and we are from a civilized one.
Yep.
The quest ledger says that the name of the nobleman you are picking up is. Right, I'll give it a go. You know what? Gregory.
Okay. Did I have
Morag.
notes for that somewhere? Nope. Okay. Guess I'll just go. Which quest? Noble Guard Captain Gregory. Okay.
I came to
I don't
pray.
care. It doesn't matter. His name doesn't matter. I just needed to verify
You
that
came
this,
to
in fact,
pray.
was not the person we came here for. Oh, right. Well, I guess I'll just add that to the party for now. Where's... Oh, did I forget to add Erda? Oh, Erdathorn. There we go. Yeah, gonna take that.
Came to pray.
As did I. However, Cass. Or wait, did she say Cass or Cassie? I forget.
Cassie.
Okay. However, Cassie, now is an incredibly unfortunate time to pray at Cab's daughter.
Trip for now?
I wouldn't say that. I would also say that you have been through a lot to get here. So, dear, uh, lightly puts his hand on her shoulder. Why don't we talk about that in the morning? For now, do you know um what was the name of this drink that it like were we given a name?
Nope. That beverage.
All right. Do you know
I actually
what?
have a question for her.
Ho-
Is she alone? Like, are there any other tribals here that you came with, or are you alone?
She shakes her head and points at the hawk.
You came with the hawk?
Shakes her head.
I am the only one. Er, no, let me rephrase. She came alone. I'm the only other dragonborn she's seen here, I suppose.
Oh, alright.
Uh, do you know what sap ale is?
Shakes her head no.
Do you know what syrup is?
Shakes head yes.
Do you know what beer is?
Shakes head no.
Drink this. Offers her his tankard.
She holds it in both hands. Tongue flick. Does this a couple of times. Just kind of watching the party's reaction as she cautiously licks.
He simply smiles and waits for her to have an actual reaction to it.
Sips. Immediately stops sipping.
It
Try.
isn't.
She starts trying to swallow it, and then feels how hard it is to actually get it to go down.
It is incredibly thick. I should have warned you about that. Apologies.
Oh, wrong channel.
How dare.
So she hands it back to you. No,
Uh, would you be so kind as to share your more liquid drink with our new friend Cassie May? Sorry,
I.
Elvira.
No, May's fine. I shake my thermos and make sure that it's still warm, and like loose. Then I hand it to her and tell her to just take sips of it.
While she does that, I take a gulp of it.
she tries it. This time she just tries to drink it. Immediately tastes how sugary it is, and just starts glugging.
There you go.
I grab the bottom of it and kind of try to tilt it down, saying, "Hey, I said sip it."
Yeah, she takes a bit, and then when you pull down on it, she stops. She sits there for a second, and kind of puts her hand on her stomach.
Oh,
Looks at her stomach, just punch, punch, punch.
hey, don't hurt yourself.
Well, like punch or like
She starts punching her stomach after she feels this weird thing, and then all of a sudden she's making an odd sound.
stop. That's that's just how this just like moves his tankard around. Feels in your stomach. It is an extremely heavy. I hesitate to call it a liquid.
Looks at her stomach. Yeah, proud?
She would be, yes.
She happily rejoices and starts clapping her hands together.
I check how much of my plum sap is left.
And she easily got through like a quarter of it really quick. I would say you probably had somewhere to like a third of it or so left.
Is
Definitely
that
did more than she
also
should have.
after the hawk took a glug?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I only took a sip. Like the glugs I've been taking have been from my own tankards of the like actual sap stuff.
Not tower, where pray?
Well, we came from Kavzar. We're not exactly Tobro locals. That's another reason why this discussion should wait until tomorrow. In the meantime, we have a room. Why don't you join us?
She looks at everybody. Looks back at you. There's specifically at May.
She won't flirt with you anymore. Don't worry about it.
Flirt? What do you mean?
She just stares at you, not really understanding the word flirt, but it kind of gives Dahak a nod.
Don't worry about it.
What do you mean? Man,
Well,
am I feeling
Cassie.
okay?
Woman, I am shushing you for a reason. Please kindly shut up. Well, Cassie, unless there's anything else, I suppose we may as well go back to the inn.
She raises a brow at you and says, "No in."
Oh. Well.
She looks at you guys and she draws a square in front of her and then crosses it out. No in.
How do you feel about like actually no, I guess I wouldn't have brought camping equipment, but May normally camps out, so do I know if she has a tent and such on her person?
On mine?
Yes.
Or her? Yeah, I do.
How do you feel about tents?
She stops drawing the square and looks at you like, Pen? Pen.
Hold on. I suppose it would be some kind of a knowledge roll because while we both follow the same religion, I don't think we're from the same tribe. What kind of a roll would I be making here to try and, like, I guess it would be a history or nature check to
That would
try
be
and.
history.
Okay. Yay, flat roll. I mean, that's
I'll be
still
back
an
in a
11.
minute.
Okay.
I won't say that she necessarily looks like someone familiar to you, but I mean, she does seem similar in appearance to you. If she is from a different tribe, it can't be too far off of your own.
Okay. So since I'm not terribly familiar with her tribe, the tribal, what are the tribal dragonborn like, since we've never actually discussed that?
So you're from a group that's a little more like grounded. You have oral tradition. You go in and out of cities fairly frequently to show that you're not savages. The tribal end of your like communal race tends to live more on the fringes. Like they do come and visit your group pretty often. They'll trade goods that they've procured for like knowledge and stuff from you guys. If someone's really sick, they'll ask for help with medicine. So you guys have kind of given them religion, whereas they didn't initially have it.
Okay.
So a lot of them look up to the smarter of you. If you recall, in her conversation specifically, she said she came seeking a religious leader.
Right. Like, I thought that might be me, but I sure, like, Kevzar is a fucking huge place, so I sure can't guarantee that one way or the other.
And you're the only one there spreading Tia.
Mm-hmm. I figured it was probably me, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were more people. I don't know. Anyway, not important. My supposition has been confirmed. I just wanted to know. All right, so like, do they live in teepees? Do they live in like mud huts? What's the deal there?
I would say mud hut.
Okay.
A technique they've picked up and similar to your guys' housing style.
Mm-hmm.
Yours are more fancy brick at this point, but they're still mortared together with mud.
Right. So her tribe, before ours started educating them, they lived in what? Teepees? Something akin to that?
EPs are small, like leaf buildings.
Okay. I suppose you wouldn't know what that is, right? So a tent is a lot like a teepee. Uh, would you prefer a teepee than woodhouse?
Raises a brow, looks up and down. Rugs.
Whatever, I suppose we'll figure that out later. But the bottom line is, I guess I'm not going back into the inn. Zephyr obviously needs to. What do you want to do, May?
I can do anything. I was planning on setting up next to the river, using a tree to kind of have one of the supports, so that I can rest on an upper branch and watch while you guys rest at the base of the tree.
That
Er,
sounds good.
Erda says she's probably better staying with one of you two, so yeah, she's outside.
Zephyr definitely needs to go back with his family.
I. So,
Right. Right. I'm going to stay with them for the night.
All right.
that being the case, I suppose we best go settle in out where May just described. We'll see you in the morning, Zephyr.
All right.
I walk over to Zeph and give him a hug.
S-
It,
smiles and he smiles and accepts it and returns it.
Mm.
Cass looks at the hawk and points over at May. Do you sleep around?
He chuckles. Perhaps. I don't keep track of her activities.
So,
The embrace they are doing is commonplace. It is a sign of affection between friends and or family.
So while I'm still hugging and after hearing sleep around, I just slowly turn my head towards her with this like, what the fuck did you just say?
She's not even paying
Look in my
attention
eyes.
to you. She's looking at the dog.
Slowly pulls out dagger. You calling
He
me a
stares
fucking
daggers at
prostitute?
the hawk stares daggers at you.
At this, Erda can't help but laugh.
Last time I'm
Hang on, I
gonna...
posted something.
Oh boy.
May pulling out her dagger and Zephyr making her put it back.
Mm,
Yeah, that's 100% what's going on right now.
Good.
last time I'm gonna let... You know, the last time I'm going to offer Tarragon to her, definitely.
Nah. Clearly, what you should do is you should lean into it, get her super drunk, and then make her think that you two fucked while she was blacked out.
Bruh. No, I
So,
don't want to
Zephyr,
enable that.
Yeah,
Just...
no, like I haven't looked at your character sheet in a while, but I'm pretty sure you're not evil. I'm pretty sure you're worse neutral.
Zephyr,
Mm,
you make your way back as soon as she lets go of you. Is Merritt there?
I might have stepped away.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So when May's done hugging you, do you start to make your way toward the inn?
Yeah.
All right. You make your way back into the inn, and you see that at this point, some of the patrons have started to clear out. That big fat ass at the counter is now broken the stool, but he's like another 20 cups in. Just slogging these things away. Half the guards are
He's...
unconscious.
Call him Groot, because goddamn, he's more tree than man at this point.
And you make your way upstairs, and you find that your mom is kind of in the corner of the room against like the window wall. She's not really visible from the window facing the door. Your sister's laying on her lap, resting calmly. She acknowledges when you come in and asks if you guys enjoyed your walk.
We did.
Good. I'm sure that fresh air was probably more useful for you than the alcohol. Kind of just stroking your sister's head. You drink a lot. You hear that judgmental motherly tone.
No, no. I needed something after the trip from Kavzar.
She gives you a nod and says that that's fair. Kind of reaching down to her side. You see she's got a bottle and she's looks like she wants to toss it to you.
Um, I catch it.
She tosses you a small bottle of tequila. Just straight tequila, and she tells you that she completely understands. Jalen kind of has her focus out the window, keeping watch. She asks where your friends went.
Um, they made a they made a new friend, but she doesn't speak the local language, so they're trying to help her get settled in.
Gives you a nod. So when is the boat supposed to show up tomorrow?
We're not sure.
She kind of feels the confusion and she asks, "What's up?"
Leave the room.
Get you.
Either leave the room or ask your sister to go grab you something from downstairs.
The sister is asleep.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter then.
Mm,
All right. Well, I'm going to get ready for bed.
She looks at you with a bit of concern. She wishes you to rest well, and you can drink that if you want. I've had plenty today.
I bet.
Of course, I love you, Mother.
Love you too, Zephy.
And I'll leave the room.
As you make your way back out, you hear your mother humming gently to your sister. Just continuing to stroke her hair in the moonlight, shining in through the window. As if you recall, you're not in Kavzar anymore. It's nice, and there's stars, and there's the sky, and the moons.
the whole vibe is just a lot
Different.
Yeah,
better.
who would have fucking thought that now we're out of Nightmare Town, it's not nearly as bad of a trip.
You don't hear the Tim Burton in the air anymore.
Yeah. Like, no,
Oh no, you got
actually,
the wrong movie.
hell, no. Now we hear the Tim Burton. Before it was just like a constant background noise of like 10 different death metals going at once.
Yeah, true. Honestly,
No. Yeah, you're sitting in the bar and you're watching Frankenweenie and relaxing and having a good emotional time. Then you look out the window towards Kavzar and all you see is some woman screaming Beetlejuice repeatedly at the top of her lungs.
While Death Clock plays for her in the background.
Just the complete tonal shift.
Yep.
You make your way back out of the bedroom, shutting the door behind you.
I was gonna do coffee. Darn it. Now I can continue then.
Where do you go from here, Zephyr?
Going. Sorry, what was going on? It kind of went off on a
You
tangent
walked
there.
out of the
Okay,
bedroom.
Yes, you left the bedroom for some reason.
Yeah, you said you were going to go to
You could have
sleep,
just
but
said you're getting ready for bed. There's probably room enough for you to sleep in that room with your family rather than leaving to get ready for bed. There are no bedrooms for you other than that one singular room.
yeah. That was the only room that was available.
Yep. That's the only room we got. That's why the rest of us were going to be camping outside regardless.
Right?
You can redo that.
Yeah, you can go back in. You're fine.
Yeah, we'll redo it.
Yeah, you're all right.
Let's just say that he didn't even leave in the first place.
Yeah.
Just
Like I
just for
said,
consistency.
redo it.
Do you get comfy in any specific fashion in the room?
I'll kind of like if there's like a couch or anything, I'll kind of I'll kind of lay on that if it's like close to where she and my sister are sitting.
Yeah, sure. You get comfy on a little like love seat sofa that exists. It's a little small for you to like comfortably stretch out on, but you could pass out on it with some time. Just kind of taking it easy, the moonlight shining into the general area. Occasionally, you feel your mom's gaze on you, just kind of easing herself to relax. You can hear her head thump into the corner of the wall as she eventually passes out next to you. Kind of laying back over the edge of the sofa, you can see the two moons up above. As you get ready to shut your eyes and relax, is there anything you're thinking about while that's going on? What's in Zephyr's mindset right now?
Well, with everything that's been going on, I didn't make the connection sooner, but all this talk about glowing green dust kind it kind of kind of reminds him of what he heard when his father died. Something about something about glowing green dust. Like, seems like timing seems too good to be a coincidence.
How long ago did his father die?
A couple years.
Yeah, the timing's a coincidence, but if what you meant, like, is the green dust in his death and the green dust going on here is too similar to be a coincidence, then yeah, I definitely agree.
Thinking about it kind of puzzles you. Do you try to like reflect on it all more? Maybe roll a history check and think back. See if you can't recall any older memory, or you just dwell on it.
Yeah, I'll roll a history check. Uh, natural 20. Nat 20.
So it was a couple years back, and it wasn't a very good time for the family. So memories from that time are a bit stressful for you.
Before you go on, that's a skill check. Skill checks don't automatically succeed on a 20. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
I was telling Merrick he's new.
Oh, that's fair. They're not guaranteed on a 20. Even to hit, honestly, isn't always a guarantee on a 20, depending on what it is, but in most cases it is.
Right.
It
Yeah,
usually just means
typically
you're doing good.
Yeah, typically in a version where that's the case, like there are different kinds of d20 rolls. Most of the time you make a d20 roll is probably going to be a skill check, which means that rolling a 1 doesn't inherently mean you fail, rolling a 20 doesn't inherently mean you succeed. Most, like the other kind of d20 rolls, typically mean it doesn't matter what your bonus is, you fail on a 1, doesn't matter what your bonus is, you succeed on a 20.
Okay.
So you think back on it and trying to find any little extra detail that could help, identify this mystery in your head, trying to put the one and one together. The only special memory you can glimpse is that you recall your dad signing up to do a job underground. For the life of you, you can't remember where he was going, but you remember that he said he was going to be underground for a while. I mean, the warp stone itself, or the green rock, seems to be a natural substance in the world. Perhaps it is something from underground. Giving it some thought, you eventually rest your eyes and find yourself into this deep relaxation. The cool night. Go sleep. Make the big. Will you wake up? That's up to the rat man on the ceiling. Anyway, how are the campers doing?
Fine, I imagine.
Making your
Like,
way out of town. walking fast, finding a place to put up a tent.
Dude, what's this about a rat man on the ceiling?
Don't worry about it. It was a joke.
Right.
You find peace. You relax. So, you guys are making your way out of town. On your way out, there's finally some people out and about in the street. They don't seem to have any interest in stopping at Tobro itself. They seem to just kind of be following the path and heading up north into the mountains, even past Kavzar. The two individuals, one is a fair-looking human, noble, some tattered clothing, and the other one is a super jacked dwarf with an orange mohawk and beard. Are you listening here, madling? We're going up north. I want to kill more goatmen. I'm just saying we could stop and get some food. Maybe a drink? Celebrate the good times? They pay you almost no mind as they walk by, talking about their great exploits and how this dwarf seeks nothing but an honorable death. Cassie kind of watches as they pass and asks, are all short people like that?
That was a dwarf, and more or less.
You kind of see her staring up at the dwarf longingly. Very strong.
I am so incredibly tempted to try and flag them down now.
She shakes her head in a bit. The 10? Looking around, not seeing anything.
Well, that depends on how much time has passed. Has May had a chance to set up the tent yet?
I'd say you guys have just reached the spot, and Erda is
The idea-
offering to help you set up a tent.
The idea is to kind of have the tent skirt around the base of a tree, where it kind of like goes out in like a triangle shape. You know? Like
Yeah.
parallel with the waterfront with one side, so that we don't immediately walk into the water.
Yeah.
Probably like 5 paces away. Some kind of flooring established so that we can rest our bedrolls not on soggy dirt. Meh. Yeah. That's pretty good, right?
All right. So Erda's helping you set up the tent, so you're not spending, hours on it.
As I work on that, I chime in from Cassie's little buff handsome man comment as a dwarf passed by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, yeah, she's gotten gold fever, that's for sure.
Gold fever.
It's what happens when somebody outside of dwarvish culture kind of gets their fancy with them. I'm not going to deny.
Should it be stone fever or something like that?
No, when dwarves, strike gold, they celebrate. That's when you get gold fever.
Uh-huh.
We're
Okay.
rich. We're rich.
Mushroom, we're rich.
So she's
yeah.
watching them put up the tent, Cassie. Is she like 10?
Yeah, that is a tent.
She walks up and she pokes it.
So continuing my conversation with Erda, I say that I should probably get Dwalin to leave the city next time that we're there, huh?
She looks at you puzzled, like, are you actually trying to be with him?
I don't know. Like, there's just something about him.
If
Maybe
you
I'm
want,
just maybe I'm
sorry,
just in
go
a
on.
vulnerable spot. You know, not really having anybody and him showing me the kindness of, being like the only decent person in Kavzar outside of our group in the guild.
She stops and raises a brow. You mean the dwarf that ripped you off twice?
It's not money. It doesn't has nothing to do with it, honestly. Like his kind words, how he stands up to me, for me to his son, and you know,
She stops and crosses her arms.
If
what?
you want that man to survive, we need to get him out of that town as well. It's
Yeah,
not looking good for anybody who's staying there.
yeah, but that would mean that we would have to talk him into getting out of there.
I never said we'd be able to do it. I said if you want him to.
Do you think I could talk him into coming with us the next time that we're in town?
That man was interested in you. Actually, is it possible to make a retroactive insight check on whether I think he was legitimately interested in her or not?
I mean, she walked away. Everyone else heard the comment he made.
Yeah, but like,
I'm going to just say in general, it would be hard to tell, but you get the feeling that the answer is.
okay. That man most likely isn't interested in you. But, that said, he seems rather gold motivated. So if you want him to survive, we can likely make it worth his while. I still have about 100 plus on me. What about you?
I'm just under 80.
That is far more than he is likely to make in an entire year.
Hmm.
Yes, Queek Sippy. That is Queek, yes.
Yes. Maybe.
I'm gonna rub my gloved hand
Aw.
across the back of the other one while just staring down.
Slurp, slurp,
It-
slurp, 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 slurp.
Thank
He
goodness. Yeah, I'm
S-
gonna have to refill their water. They've both gone
Certainly
for like an
do.
extended period. Jesus.
They're not the only ones that are thirsting, apparently.
Oh, that's May's problem.
Anyway, so we kind of went off on a tangent there.
Tent's probably up.
Yep.
Bedrolls deployed. Some kind of like dry material on the ground. Uh, we could have a campfire if it's that cold, but probably not needed. Yum yum.
Erda tells you that she's probably not gonna go to sleep tonight. If you'd like, she can just keep watch. She kind of wants to
Regardless,
contemplate a time dilation thing.
I'm going up into the tree and overwatching above us.
Well, then I guess that leaves the tent for Dahak and Cassie.
I suppose it does.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't sleep around too much. I give like the signal of my two eyes to my fingers in my eyes, and then like the gesture of I'm watching as I get out of the tent and climb up the tree.
As you make that as you make that gesture, he snorts and says, "I'm sure you all." Well, hold on. Oh, I'm sure you would love to.
Uh, she kind of follows you around the tent to hawk, but as you start getting up to actually go to like into it, she stops. She takes a step away, and you just find her staring up at the stars. Looking up, you can see one very light blue one, just kind of glinting.
Is that Tia's star?
Tia does not have a star, as the religion is still kind of small. One of the reasons why you're up here is to help spread it.
I know. I know it was why, but
But as
the religion can ascribe a star to whatever the fuck they want. Like,
for
just because we call it Tia's star, like, somebody could call Polaris Tia's star on Earth. That doesn't make it not Polaris, but that also doesn't make it not Tia's star to that person
I
or
would
religion.
say that in general, for Tia, it's more about finding comfort in a light colored light, like a light.
Okay.
So there is a star that happens to be that color shining brightly tonight. It has caught her attention.
A, insert penny equivalent to her tribe for your thoughts.
Do you think she can hear me here?
I know she can hear us here, dear. She has talked to me in my dreams, and that has not stopped since I've started living here.
How does she speak?
It varies. She is normally not literally speaking to me. It's more symbolic. She always appears as either we describe her, or more commonly as a comforting light, much like that star up there.
She looks at you and then back at the star. Do you think she's watching now?
I know she is.
She smiles and kind of kneels for a bit. She seems happy enough to be making a prayer.
I sit with her and do the same. Don't know what she's praying about, but in my case, I suppose I would be praying for her safety and that of those around me.
As you pray, you feel a warm, invigorating energy around you. Kind of makes you happy.
Huzzah!
Doesn't do much, but it makes you happy.
Whatever, that's what matters.
First time feeling her grace since leaving Kavzar.
Unabetted either. Like, it's nice, it's clear, it feels strong. There's no like hidden meaning to it. You can feel her presence in full, and feeling it like this after having been in Kavzar for so long, like your prayers being there, you don't really feel like she ever like fully heard all of them. Maybe because there wasn't a tower to pray to that helped channel it. Maybe because it was just interference from another deity kind of blocking it out. But now that you're just out in the wild praying to her, you definitely can hear her. You can feel her presence.
Noted. I don't have anything before we sleep, so shall we get to the next day?
Sure. Unless anyone tries to get up and. Hmm?
Do you need to start getting ready for work?
I mean, I already am.
Oh,
If it's 10 or after, then I've probably already started to get ready, or I already am ready for work.
So nothing super special happens. You guys are sleeping. Or any group.
You're asking that like a question, not making a statement.
I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to do anything while resting, since I know both Erda and May are still technically awake.
Well, all I'd be doing is just staring at my gloves and worrying about Wallen. Being, little Miss Heartbroken, bleeding romantic suddenly. Because, yeah, even if it was a bit for him, it wasn't for her. You know?
As you're staring at your glove, you feel the small steps of a rat on your side.
Meh.
Erda has climbed up the tree.
I look at Erda with this, curious look, you've decided to join me?
Rugs.
Yeah, she can't bite you in your sleep if she's not around when you're sleeping.
And chomp.
Meh. Do you really think it's foolish of me? Kind of
She,
stretching out my fingers with the glove still on.
she sits there for a moment. For a second, you think maybe you're actually talking to just a regular rat that climbed up here because she doesn't say anything. But after a moment, she tells you that love is strange sometimes. I don't really think that there's love on the other side, but I could be wrong. I don't know. You tell me what a noble sees in a peasant girl that likes rats.
Probably the same thing that an elf sees in a dwarf.
Does it mean anything to you? What others think?
Not initially. But when you get used to the prejudice, it kind of all just blurs into the same white noise. Which is why it was a breath of fresh air, even if it was to just get more money out of me, for him to be kind as he was.
I mean, I don't doubt he was trying to be kind. Not even a little bit.
So much of his kind have already belittled me, even after all that I've done for them, all that my family has done to, support the families and, the community there in Cavs. It's just they still view me as what my race has done. Which, generally with it being connected to the Fae already has that negative connotation to it, but Underdark as well. It's
I suppose.
again, it all blends to white noise.
I suppose I would just be concerned for what happens if it doesn't work out.
Mm.
You make that trip back for nothing. Also, didn't
Not
you say it
for
was just to spite the sun?
not in character.
Uh,
Like it was more like joking, like I'm going to marry him out of spite. just joking around out of character, but in character, it's like, it certainly would be, oh fuck, what was it called? It would reassure a few things just to go back and to, you know, see for myself. But I don't know if the dangers of going back in and then coming back out are worth it. Like, would they be safer in the town rather than trying to get them to leave with us? If I try and connect with someone that was like, that level of kind outside of my flesh and blood, is the ending of what happened to the last one that did the same thing going to happen again? Stapled to the roof of a building,
No way to know until it happens.
I don't want to paint a target on them, and I don't want them to be endangered.
I think the only person likely to make it out of that city in one piece, unfortunately, is Todd Howard. He kind of just gives you this super deadpan stare.
I give her one back while slowly unsheathing one of those jagged daggers and saying, I won't guarantee it the next time in town, but those odds might be varied, in percentage, if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, there's no town guard after all. No repercussions.
Exactly. Also, stop eavesdropping. Don't shout through the roof of the tent.
Again, that was not in the Bane adjacent voice, which means
No, I
that
know.
was out of character.
I know.
Madam.
I know, it was still funny though. It's like Dahak just yells up, "Be gay, do crimes."
Well, no. He wouldn't say be gay because this is in fact an extremely hetero conversation. He would just say, "Go do crimes" after handing her, I don't know.
One, where do you want that rat?
On also on May, right in her ear.
Aw.
Okay. I'll get a
Let's
rat.
do crimes.
We're great at rat. Yeah, we're
Actually,
great
on her
at.
shoulder, I guess. That's where Erda was for this
Replace
conversation. Yes.
Tarragon.
Yeah, sure, that works.
So, she's not really sure what's up with Kavzar. All she knows is that she has to go back to.
Same spot.
She has to go back to get her husband anyway, so she'll happily walk back with May.
Sir.
Well,
there's another request for a gay rat.
She and I have already had that agreement that we're going to be assassinating the captain of that capital, right? The capital guard
that's
captain.
a big gay rat.
She's honestly not sure it'll even help to kill him. She's been dwelling on it.
Wouldn't hurt to tell or to see.
Except then if you go back to Kavzar, you're going to get in trouble with the quest tender for not guiding him back.
But the thing is, we won't get in trouble if we don't report to the guild.
Then why go back at all?
We're going,
for your husband.
How quietly are you two talking up there?
I probably cast Speak with Animals, and I'm just chittering back
Bullshit,
and forth
you can't use that with her.
Why not?
She speak like normal. She speak the normal speak. If you speak
She's not an
animal at her,
animal.
she'll just stare at you and be like, "What?"
Mm,
I'll
I'd say we'd try to be
I'll be
as
back in a
discreet,
minute.
All right.
at least.
I mean,
Alright.
at this point, I'm probably done with everyone else's character. It's probably just Lil's, unless I'm waking Dog up.
Yeah, like I think it's a good enough time to end the session because I'm feeling.
Yeah, no, I wanted to just end the day, and that could be the end of the session, or starting the next day could be the end of the session, so we don't have to
It's not a
warm
bad
up
place
with
to.
that stuff.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to end it.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, so I cannot interject in any of that part. Yes?
Unless you want to.
Unfortunately,
No, it's fine. It's not unfortunate. I just wanted to make sure.
I'll allow it.
good session, guys. You guys have a good night. I need to use the bathroom.
Oh no, the bathroom. Too many
Also,
gay rats.
since we're wrapping up, I have to
Yes, no.
ask, why the fuck are you tasting the Wii Remote?
What?
The flavor of Wii Remote will never reoccur, and it's trapped in time. However, the wheel accessory for the remote's the Wii Remote's flavor has been recreated many times in history, including the original stone wheel.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, you've never just wondered, huh? What's that taste like? And put it in your mouth?
It is a part of human culture to taste new things just to see what it tastes like, so
Yeah,
that it
no,
can
like
transfer
Crackle.
throughout the eons.
don't act like you've never been bored and been like, what does this taste like? Fuck it. Dom
There's
and or lick.
and even if you don't have the curiosity, there are humans that do. There's a reason why when the Switch was released, there was so many people that are like, "What does the Switch cartridge taste like?
Well,
It's gross."
the Guitar
Well,
Hero
it wasn't.
controller is
It wasn't. What does
delicious.
it taste like? It was people finding out this purposefully tastes bad, so you don't put it in your mouth. And you're like, nah, that can't be real.
No, that
Oh,
can't be
God,
real.
it's
Oh
terrible.
god. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I still haven't tried a Switch cartridge yet.
You probably don't wanna.
Yeah, I haven't either for that very reason. Also, in case anyone was wondering, the generic D20s don't taste like much of anything.
My
The
metal
only
ones
thing I'm
taste
tasting
like
on it
metal.
is my own my own oils from my hand.
Mm,
Metal ones taste like metal.
this one tastes like silver. Alright, you guys have a wonderful evening.
I
I'm
hope
gonna
you
be
guys
Have a good
have
piss.
fun.
Hey, watch how hard I can piss.
Man, I can't believe they just pissed off their Wi-Fi connection.
Oh no!
Have a good night, everybody.